Hey guys, 8 months ago I released my first devlog for my game as a solo developer. It's been a long journey to get to this point, but I have finally published my first public playtest on Steam. The goal of this playtest is to showcase my vision for the game. It's a very short playthrough, but I hope by playing the playtest, it can give people an idea of what I am trying to achieve with the game. Alongside the playtest, I have also just launched a Kickstarter campaign which will be running for 30 days, and I will leave the playtest up open publicly during this time frame. If you've not seen my game before, it's a 3D Metroidvania game inspired by Hollow Knight and Prince of Persia, along with other inspirations, but these two are the main inspirations I have been using. You play as Tairo in this forgotten realm where you have to travel through the abyss, but there is a curse that's preventing Tyro from progressing. You have to fight enemies and defeat bosses to get rid of the curse. Like many Metroidvanias, the game will have different locations, cities, and biomes with enemies of varying difficulties. At the moment, the game I've only developed roughly 30% of the main mechanic of the game, which means that there is still a lot more to do, but I am at a point where I have the basic combat and movement implemented. The playtest will only showcase a portion of what I have implemented to introduce the movement and combat system. There are some features that I have taken out because of it not being polished just yet, and of course, there will be more that I will be implementing throughout the development. Tyro uses time manipulation abilities to fight enemies. I have implemented this system where there is an hourglass that acts as a mana bar, but over time, this mana will get drained just like an hourglass. Tyro's abilities will consume some of this mana, and once Tyro's mana is empty, you will need to hit an enemy a certain amount of time to flip the hourglass and start draining again. Currently, there is an ability that rewinds time and replenishes the health that Tyro has just lost. So you've got a very small time window to press a button to rewind the time, but this will be the main form of sustain in the game. But I may plan to add another sustainability that does not require the use of the mana system. This is an old clip, but there are three abilities that I am planning to add. Ignore the visual effects because this is most likely going to be changed, but there is a Chrono Slash, Chrono Break, and a Chrono Dive. All these abilities will consume mana. The Chrono Slash will fire a slash projectile in front of Tyro, dealing damage to whoever it hits. Chrono Break is an upward attack that deals damage and stops the time of enemies within the projectile. And the Chrono Dive is a downward attack that will deal damage in an AoE as well as knocking up and slowing down the time of enemies that are hit. These are the three main abilities currently that I have planned, but may tweak the function of them at some point, and we'll be adding other abilities as well. On top of the abilities, I have also begun implementing an inventory system to the game. These abilities will be obtainable throughout the game, and so there needs to be a system to track and control the abilities you are currently using. So I have made this simple inventory system with a UI that I have designed. But overall, the playtest only lasts for around 5 to 10 minutes, maybe even less. I did add a speedrun timer for those that want to beat the boss at the end as fast as possible. Depending on how many people are interested, I will be hosting a competition for speedruns just to increase the replayability of the playtest. In the playtest, you'll be talking to Shen, who is a wise elder turtle who has been living in the Forgotten Realm for all the time that has passed. When you go out, you will be introduced to the keybinds for the movement, which you are not able to just change just yet because I've not implemented any sort of option settings yet, but we'll definitely be prioritizing it in the next few months. I've made sure that even though you cannot change the graphic settings, I have optimized some of the textures and meshes to have better performance. As you progress through this level, you will encounter 3 enemies that you just walk around to deal damage. They are just there to introduce the basic attack. Then after, you go through and end up coming across a waypoint, which is currently a clock, which I thought would fit well with the theme. Skipping forward, there will be a flying enemy and then a room that closes, just like in Hollow Knight, where you have to defeat the enemies inside before you can progress. I did also add this elevator as a way to travel between levels, because I have made the levels a persistent level, which allows me to control what levels are shown depending which room Tairo is currently in. This saves a lot of performance due to the limitation of what rooms are currently being rendered. There are trigger boxes at the entrances and exits of a level which gets triggered and only show the level once the player gets teleported to that new level. Moving forward, once you enter the next level, it will be this corridor that will lead to the first boss. It's just a simple boss that tests the player's jumping ability, because for each boss I want to make sure to challenge a specific skill or ability. For example, in this case, the jumping ability of the player. When you reach the gate, you will be faced with a knight that acts as the first boss. Its main 2 abilities consist of a dash attack and a slash attack. The dash gets telegraphed by the knight kneeling down, and the slash gets telegraphed by the knight dashing backwards. They get triggered depending on Tairo's distance from the boss. When Tairo gets too close, the boss will likely dash backward to trigger a slash attack. Both abilities can be dodged by jumping above them. This tests the player's jumping ability. Once defeated, an end screen will pop up, and that is then the playtest. It's a very short playtest, like I said, but I hope with this it's enough to show my vision and that there is still a lot more work to be done. I haven't modeled any other bosses yet. The visual effects and sound effects of the boss currently modeled are mainly placeholders, but I have a very big ambition for this game. It's a big task, and I know that Metroidvania is not the easiest genre for a solo developer, but I enjoy the process. This is my passion, and enjoy seeing my art become a reality in the game. I have launched a Kickstarter with the hope of being able to work on my game full time and finally quit my job so I can pursue my passion. It's been a long time dream of mine to become a 3D artist and now a game developer, to have the freedom of seeing my creativity come to life. If you are interested in my game, it would mean a lot to me if you can play the playtest, give me feedback, and also check out the Kickstarter campaign page. Sharing and liking this video means a lot to me, and I hope to see you in the Discord as well, because I will be posting updates there, and it will be where I will be hosting the speedrun competition. If you have any feedback for my game, please don't hesitate to comment down below, but that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next devlog.